What's going on, everybody? It's Nathan Payne, and I am at the Salt Lake City airport right now. And I have to tell you something. I got to tell you guys why I lost out on a deal. It's about a $15,000-$20,000 deal that I lost out on. I'm making this video so you guys don't make the same mistake that I did, all right? And just so you know that you can use batch leads anywhere in the world, at the airport, at your house, in your office, in the safari if you got internet, in the jungles. Let me explain to you guys why I lost out on this deal and how you can avoid that from happening to you. So let me tell you this story. So I'm working with the seller and I get this lead and I call the seller and I say, hey, are you interested in selling? What got you interested in selling? Took her through the normal sales process. All right. And she was interested in selling. She needed to sell quick. She was wanting to retire. So I went through my process of asking her, what options she's explored. And she's like, I don't really want to list it. I said, do you want to list it? She said, no, I don't really want to. I want to sell quickly. So after taking her through, do you want to keep it? She's like, no, I need to sell it in order to retire and buy something else. We finally found out that she wants cash offer. Okay. So then I run my numbers and let me show you guys how I get the process of running the numbers. So this is how it's done. I go to Batchleads, I type in the information of the address, look up the property, see the details, and then I kind of have a good idea. After that, I talk to her and I'm like, okay, so let's establish what the ARV of your house is worth. What is your house worth fixed up? And her house was worth we saw it was about worth 350. Okay. And her house wasn't too bad, but I started putting in the numbers and I was like, okay, so if your house is worth 350, it might take me a couple months to flip. I'm going to have to get hard money. And if I flip it, I'm going to make a certain amount. If I wholesale it, I need to make a certain amount. So I started putting the numbers in there. And she said she wanted 300,000, right? So I was like, okay, at 300,000, ma'am, if I bought your house and if I was just a flipper, I would lose out on $70,000. And there's a 20% negative net profit to flipper. No flipper is going to take that. I can't make any money as a wholesaler. Even if I zero this out, I'm not making any money. Okay. So I said, look, the best I think I can do, if your house needs a medium rehab, even at 240, as you can see here, it still didn't really even make sense as a flip. So I needed to be even lower, right? And this is a flip. This is how you determine a flipper if this is a good deal for a flipper. Her house actually wasn't in that bad a shape, so it might not have taken that long, like let's just say 4 months. So you got to see if the net profit falls between a certain percentage. You want to get it into the green. You want it into between 15 to 20%. So again, after running the numbers, I was needed to get it at a really low price for it to make sense. So I think I ended up offering her like 220 because I was trying to make about 15. And she denied it. She's like, nah, it doesn't work for me. Somebody already offered me 275. So I was like, wow, 275 and your house needs about 26K of repairs. To myself, I thought, how is that even possible that they're going to make that much money? Like they're not going to make any money as a flip. So I thought to myself, I was like, maybe this is a different kind of buyer. So I was like, maybe I should do a novation, right? So I took my calculator and I threw in the numbers for novation, right? So I went over here and I said, okay, the market value 350 is what the house is probably worth flip. So if I do a novation, 330, let's say the market value of the house currently is 330. Actually, I thought it was like 320. Okay, after running these numbers, the way that novations work is you're trying to list the house for the seller and then you're saying, hey, I can put in some repairs so you don't have to, and you list it for them on the market and then you can make a fee. So I said, okay, if I take this house, if it's market value, and I put it on the MLS after repairs and fees, everything, the market value is 320. I'd have to put it 95%, 304 after commissions, fees, everything in here. 267 is what my max allowable offer to her would be if I'm trying to make 10,000. So again, she got an offer at 275, and I'm like, there's no way. This must be a noob wholesaler. This might be someone that doesn't know what they're doing, because if my cash offer has to be down this low, then I can do a novation. And then I asked her, what about, creative financing? And she's like, nah, I want the money now. So I was running through these numbers. And if you're all like, well, Nate, are you running through these numbers in your head? Actually, just so you guys can see, I actually did a Zoom call with the seller and she was walking me through her house. This is me on the call with her. She's actually giving me a walkthrough of the property, as you can see. So I'm establishing the seller. At the end, after she walks me through her house, I show her some comps in the area, what they're worth. Also, I ran the numbers with her and I said, hey, look, this is if we flip it. This is if I list it with you. These are all my options. And at the end, I really couldn't find a way to beat that other offer that other buyer was giving her. So I was like, maybe I'm missing something. Okay, I'm in Utah. This is my market, but maybe I'm missing something. So this is what I said to her. I said, look, maybe I'm missing something. The numbers don't make sense for me to go up that high to flip it. If we were to partner on it, maybe I could get you that much. But let me run this by a couple of my business partners. I basically told her, hey, I'm going to wholesale it. I said, hey, let me run this by a couple of my business partners. But in order for me to do this and see if anyone can pay more than me, I need you to give me a certain amount of time before you go sign with someone else. Okay. And she's like, sure, I'll give you a week. I'm not in any hurry. That's what she said to me. And me being gullible and kind of lazy because I didn't want to fill out the paperwork that I'm about to show you, I just said, okay, just give me a week. So I filled out like a landing page with her information. She sent me a bunch of pictures and I sent it out to my buyers. You won't believe this. So I sent it out to one of my buyers. One of my buyers was like, yeah, I'll take it for I think he said 280, right? So I have it 275 is the offer she wanted. If I have to beat that or can match it, so that's 5K, right? On a deal that doesn't really make sense. And I said, why do you want this? He's like, I want it as a rental. Okay, so the rental numbers don't really make sense, but in this area, because you have to understand your market, this is probably like the one of the cheapest properties in this area at 275. There's not very many properties under 300,000 in this area, so people will buy it even though it doesn't make sense because they're basing off appreciation. So that's probably what the other buyer saw. He was like, well, let me buy it. It's still the cheapest home in the area, and I'll just rent it out and sell it for more later and let it appreciate. So my guy offered me 280, and he's like, hey, I called one of my students, his wife is an agent, and I said, hey, maybe she has some families that would want to move in. So she said she sent it out to a couple people and they're willing to pay 295. So there you go, 275, 295, that's 20K. So I'm like, right here, I'm like, dang, I got this deal done. So as I'm doing this, the lady said she would give me a whole week, right? This is 3 days and I already find people. What do you think happened? She hits me up 3 days into it and she's like, hey, sorry, the other buyer's really pressing on me. I need to go with them. I thought I had more time. And I'm like, whoa, 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 hold on here. I have somebody. We just need to let them see the house. And because the other buyer was quicker and because I didn't get her to sign anything, she just moved on. You know, after I built that amazing rapport, all that stuff, she still said she's going with them. Now, look, this doesn't mean the deal's over. The other buyer could bounce. A lot of things could happen. But I'm just letting you know, if you're going to do what I did with the option to purchase agreement, where you're just saying, hey, let me run this by people, get them to sign something. Okay. Because if you don't get them to sign something, they could say they have a week, they can give you a month, they can change their mind at the split second. Buyers and sellers can change their mind anytime they want. So just get them to sign the right paperwork. Taking a deal that I didn't think was a deal, found out because I reached out to my buyers because I know my buyers. Within 2 or 3 days, I was able to find out that I had a $5,000 to $20,000 deal, and the numbers didn't make sense. Now, this is going to happen sometimes because some people might really like the area. You might have the right relationships to get it done. But all I'm trying to tell you, trying to beg you, just like this just happened to me. Go and get the sellers to sign the paperwork. Let me show you what I should have her sign. So this is called an option to purchase agreement. What the option to purchase agreement is, it basically lets you wholesale their deal. You agree on a specific price with the seller. So I would have just said, hey, buyer has the option to buy or lease option the property at blank at 275,000. I would have had her sign this. I would have had her give me 7 days, 7-day option period, address she would have signed. And this says right here, seller may cancel this agreement at any time if they find their own buyer, but must provide 72 hours first right of refusal to buyer to match or beat the new offer in writing. So again, this could have been something that I did, but again, I was lazy. I didn't want to put this into my DocuSign. I didn't want to put it into PandaDoc. That's actually what I use to send this out to her. And when I thought, she would just go with me because we had a good relationship, she just went with the other buyer because they were serious. They made the offer and they were going to say they were going to buy it. So, these are all hypotheticals, but I'm just trying to let everyone know that's watching this, don't lose out on a deal like me just because you're too lazy to just ask the seller, like, hey, I actually have some great buyers in this area. I think they might be interested in it. For me to legally reach out to them, I need you to sign this option to purchase agreement just for me to run this by them. Also, when they sign this, you have the right to look for an end buyer through yard advertising, the property for sale by owner means of the internet, social media, on the MLS, you can list it, or other marketing methods. So you can do pretty much market this out any way you want with this contract. You're just being transparent to them. You're saying, hey, look, let me run this by some of my buyers. It's like wholesaling, but you're just telling them you're wholesaling it instead of just saying, I'm going to buy it. Okay. So that's pretty much all I got to tell you guys. Now, I'm not too upset or worried because I just learned. I've been doing this for 4 years, 5 years, and sometimes being too lazy and not getting it done not having people sellers sign and getting that take the proper steps will bite you in the butt, but sometimes you got to have some of this stuff happen to you so you can bounce back and not waste your time, not do it again. So that is how I lost out on a deal at the moment. It's very possible, very, very possible that she'll call me back. That's what you got to do. You got to get sellers to sign. Thanks to Batchleads, I never give up. Thanks to Batchleads, I got the right info, but just need to sign the right paperwork. So don't lose out on deals. Take action. Run through the numbers with the seller. Run through the numbers yourself so you know exactly what to offer. This one did not meet the numbers, but there was something funky about it. Found out because I had buyers in the area real quick what it was. Find buyers, do the painless wholesaling method. That way I was able to find a buyer like that. But again, I should have just locked it up. There's a lot of things I should have done, but you live and you learn. So Batch Leads for life. Peace out, everybody. Have a great week.